right, we are live. Welcome everybody. Finally got in. We had a little trouble with the phone system, but now we are good. All right. That means we should be now live, right? Your Coach Borino with you. Let me make sure my mic is on. We are on. The audio is on and everything looks good. Welcome everybody. Your Coach Borino with you, the author of FSBORINO, and this is a private session for you guys who are my FSBORINO clients, who are the students who have the system. Today we're going to chat about how to get you up and running quickly. We're going to resolve any issues you may run into. I'm going to answer your questions. We can role play, whatever you want to talk about. This is your time to do it. Just want to make sure the stream is good. You guys can see me. Good. Okay. The audio is good. Picture looks good. Your handsomeness Borino with you on this lovely Saturday. Okay. For those of you that are watching it on the Listing University tune-up page, would you just type in a little comment that the picture is good? You can hear me, you can see me. You guys on the phone, welcome. Here is how the phone will work. Of course, you can watch the whole thing, not watch, but listen to the whole thing. On the phone, here is the number. It is 641-715-3605. The conference ID is 143153. And then you hit pound. If you want to ask questions, if you want to just raise your hand and let me know that you want to chat about something, just hit *6 on your phone. I'm going to bring you online. There's a slight delay between the video feed and us chatting live on the phone, so you just mute your phone and we can get going. All right? So with that, welcome again. I know a bunch of you are already online here, which is fantastic. Good to have everybody. And I'm sure you have things to talk about, so hit *6 and we can just dive right in and talk about the system. I know some of you have had it for about a month or so, and I'm sure there are certain things that you want to chat about. So if you hit *6, that will raise your hand. It will pop on my queue here, and we can get going. And with that, let me just turn this off so we don't have any audio trouble. All right, so you guys can see me, you guys can hear me. Welcome good. Again. I know a bunch of you. All right, good. So we are broadcasting. Fantastic. So you guys, you have questions, you want to chat. We're going to do that over the phone. The video feed, of course, is coming, but in order for us to be able to actually talk, you have to dial it in. That's the only way we can communicate. I will check the feedback and the comments on the Listing University page, but I wanted to actually talk to you. So this way you can ask me questions. We can talk about the system. I have the book here with me, so for my reference, you should all have one of these, right? This is the actual system that we're going to talk about. Whatever you need help with, anything goes. There's no such thing as wrong questions. Just ask. My job is, for you as my customer, is to help you, to support you. You're my students, you're my friends, you're people who are out there on the front line using it. So it requires a little help, it requires a little work, and I know it requires some implementation. It's not exactly a simple system. It's not difficult, it's not complicated. But it does require a little bit of effort, and there may be some things that we need to work out. So that's why we're here today, okay? I also want to invite you to Vegas. We can talk about it if you want. I'll tell you a couple of quick updates on it, and we get going. Okay, so the conference is live. The Q&A mode is on. And if you're just joining us, welcome. Your Coach Borino with you. If you're on the phone and you want to chat, you want to role play, you got into a situation with a FSBO, or overall you just feel like you need a little inspiration, you need a little breakdown of which steps to take first, second, third, how to implement it, or especially if you haven't implemented yet. Remember that classic story? I always show you the course I still have that I've never opened. I don't want this to be one of those. I want to make sure that this works for you. You're getting leads, you're getting listings, you're getting customers, and you're up and running with it. All right? So waiting for your questions, hit *6, get on the phone. Here's the number again. Let me show you. 641-715-3605. And our conference ID is 143153. Then you hit pound. To raise your hand to come in the question queue is *6. And we're going to chat, all right? Okay. Here we go. Let's get started. Looks like we have a first question. Hey, it's Borino. Who is this?
It's Cookie Borino.
Hey, Cookie, my dear. How are you?
I'm good. It's just a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be recording this so if there's something that we missed because we're writing something down or looking in our book that we could go back and refer to?
Absolutely. This will be recorded and it will be posted with the rest of the FSBORINO videos. Just to give you a quick update, all the content, we had hundreds of videos and downloads and all that, has been moved onto a new server. So we're going to be updating the website. It's going to have a different, more streamlined navigation. It's going to be easier. And the best part you're going to love is one login will get you access to everything, including Listing University. So you don't have to futz around with new passwords and links and all that. It's all going to be in one big box where, depending on which program you have, you'll just log in and it'll be right there for you. It will also work now on all the mobiles, you know, your phone and iPad and all that. All the videos should now stream on all the systems. So you should be up and running.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Borino. I'm really looking forward to this class.
Same here. Now, have you started using it?
Yes, I have.
What has been the biggest challenge so far?
Well, it's like anything new. It's kind of like riding a bicycle that you haven't taken out of the garage in a while, and the chains need to be oiled, and the bicycle needs to be tuned up.
Yeah.
But I'm walking in the forward direction, and it seems to be working out so much better than anything else that's out there. Plus, I've been fortunate enough to take some of your previous classes where you've given some of the information about the FSBOs.
Yeah.
But what I love about this is it's one system. So I love systems because once the system is in place, it works like clockwork. So I'm very excited about knowing that probably in another week or two I'll have all my letters and this done and that done.
Good.
As I do for my Expired Plus program.
Good. Well, let me just show you something real quick, Cookie. I don't know, are you watching it on the video as well, or are you just on the phone?
I'm on the phone.
You're on the phone. Okay, so what I'm going to draw on the board, and you can see it on the video, is, so here we are. This is about December, what is today? December 12th, okay? And then we have a timeline. This will be the December 31st, end of the year, and this will be January. Okay, so you have this window about 45 days and the reason I scheduled this call in this window is because somewhere towards the end of December, around December 24th, right around Christmas, and through the end of January is a huge window, or the door as I drew it on the board, of opportunity. Because what will happen is a couple of things. The existing FSBOs will get way more serious. With the new year, they will suddenly realize that what they've been doing, especially if they've been on the market for more than a couple months, those that do need to sell, who are motivated, who have a core drive and emotion, who have a desire to sell, will start looking at an option B. And the plan B, of course, means let's talk to some agents. Let's interview some agents. You want to be ready for this window here. And that means two things. Start reconnecting with the FSBOs you already have spoken to or have on a follow-up in the past, number one. And number two, look for more. Because this will be a transitional period for many of them. Just from a psychological standpoint, with the new year, they will suddenly get in gear and start moving in a different direction, which plan B, of course, means listing with an agent. That's the first part. The second part will be new FSBOs. Those will be people who have a goal and a desire and a plan in 2016 and next year to move. And somewhere towards the end of December, they will start researching, they will start experimenting, going on websites, checking how other for sale by owners are doing it, and getting that false sense of hope that they can do it on their own. These will be ready somewhere in here, depending on their motivation, somewhere halfway through January, all the way through the end of February. So if you add these up, you have this great opportunity to get a bunch of leads, to get listings, to get clients, and make money. If you set this up right, this can be a very profitable time of the year for you. And it's very important to be ready for it. Now, when I say ready, here is what I don't mean, and here's the trap that some of you may fall into. And that is to have the entire system ready. The entire 18 or 19 steps to have in place. Don't fall into that perfection, let me set this all up before I roll it out trap. You will never get there. What you want to have is the first contact and maybe first 3 to 4 follow-up pieces in place. That means the flyer, maybe the video, the brochure, that kind of stuff. 3 or 4 is enough because that will get you all the way through the end of February where you're going to start converting them. So don't wait till you have the sequence in place. Don't wait till everything is perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's going to get better and better and better. But go with what you have. Start right now. And I don't mean on the 24th, I mean now. Start accumulating these contacts. Start putting them on the sequence. Start working with them. Start talking to them. Start communicating. Start building trust. Because come January, the conversions will start kicking in. And some of you are already doing it. I know I saw a couple of posts with my man Jim Steele down in Florida with Remax. He's cranking them left and right already. He already has them in a pipeline. It's just going to go up here. So use the same window as well. So here's what it means. Work on your first contact. That's the most important part. So you have a system in place. Jump on Craigslist, use the tools and resources that I've given you through the system where to find the for sale by owners. Start contacting them. That's step 1. Step 2, prepare the list of websites for sale and the first maybe 3 or 4 follow-up pieces and start implementing that. That's good enough to roll it out, which technically means you're ready. Practice the dialogues, obviously. That's the very important part of it, is how you come across, how you communicate with them, especially during the first few minutes of the interaction face-to-face when you go see the FSBO. And then just use this window, set this window right to collect the leads and listings. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, good.
Absolutely.
Have you been contacting any FSBOs, Cookie?
Have I been contacting FSBOs?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And do you have any on your follow-up? How many do you think you have on your follow-up?
I probably have at least, I think at last count, 15.
Good for you. How many do you think out of those will you convert to listings? What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling, I think 7 or 8 or more. I think actually, I'll say 7 or 8, that I have a good gut feeling about. And the other 7 or 8, they may need, they may not be as motivated as the other half.
Sure, but 7 is still pretty nice. That wouldn't be bad.
Oh, I'm telling. It's great. It's like you said, the low-hanging fruit of the really so much easier to get business from the FSBOs and expires.
Yes, because
they're raising their hand saying I'm for sale, or
that's
the
exactly
expires
right.
said they're raising their hands as well. So
that's exactly right. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Good for you. Keep me posted. Are you coming to Vegas? Am I going to see you in Vegas?
I know, because I'm going to be in Vegas the following month for Remax R4.
Ah, okay. Well, you can still make it.
So.
Twice in Vegas,
yeah, that's true
twice
too.
the fun, right?
Listen, I may change my mind.
You'll see.
I actually, because of the listing boot camp, I have 3 closings in January.
Nice, good for you.
So that's the other reason I have to take care of those clients.
Yes, good deal. Hey, Cookie, thank you so much for the call. Nice chatting with you as always. All right, hon. So that was Cookie. See, 7 possible listings out of about 14 that you put on a follow-up. That's not bad. That's actually really good. Those are good numbers. If you can do 15 to 20 that you put on the system. Let me show you what I mean.
Absolutely.
Let's say you put 10 FSBOs a month on the system. Can you do that? Yeah, that's doable. 10, maybe 15. Some you will never list, some will sell on their own, some will list with somebody else, but many of those will be converted. That's the idea. All right, Cookie, thank you so much. Good job. Love it. Love that you're moving forward with it. Anything else, hon?
No.
No? Good. All right.
I'm excited to hear the rest of the questions.
Now, me too. Awesome. Thanks, Cookie. Have a good one. All right, guys, we're ready for the next question. Just hit *6. Let me show you the phone number is 641-715-3605. And if you have a question, it's 143-153. Then you're going to hit #, and we'll talk. What Cookie was also talking about is the Double the Listings Bootcamp. She was part of that. That worked pretty well. All right, so come aboard. Ask a question. Talk to Coach Borino. I'll show you how to get FSBOs. I'll teach you. It's not that hard. It really is not that hard. Once you break down into simple systems, and let me just show you what I mean by that before we get the next caller on the line, is the system really is just a 3-part. You really only want to focus on 3 parts. So let me break it down for you. Part 1, you do your research. So you're going to go on Craigslist, you're going to use maybe RedX, or you're going to use Landvoice, any of those premium services. Do a little research. This should take you probably 15, maybe 30 minutes a day. Shouldn't take more than that. You pull your FSBOs. Second is you make a contact. If you have the address, you're going to knock on the door. If you have the phone number, you're going to call them. If not, you're going to email them. Then third part is to do the visit. That's really all it takes. And then, of course, those that you want, this 4th step, would be the follow-up. This part right here, the number 2, the contact, and the number 3, the visit, if you execute this good enough, doesn't need to be perfect. It's not going to be. It doesn't need to be. But if you make the contact, use the templates, you have it. Use the dialogues, you have the outlines. Not that hard, a little bit of practice. And then the visit, where the first impression, you make a good first impression. You're a high status agent, you feel good, you're passionate, you're optimistic, you smile, you have a good time. If you do these 2 well,
questioner.
The follow-up will be a lot easier. Much easier. Then it's just a matter of keeping in touch and being cool and helpful. And you have the resources for that as well. Okay? All right. Welcome to the show. It's Borino. Is this Tom?
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Tom. Welcome. How you doing?
Good. See, I had a quick question. I've got this a couple weeks ago. I really haven't started to get into it, but I know
Sure.
it was on your website, realestatemarketingplus.com.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere on there I can access this information?
Which information?
Well, for FSBORINO, this new program.
Do you have the program?
Yes.
Okay, yes, absolutely. There should be a section in the navigation of the website that says FSBORINO, where you have all the coaching videos. There are, I think, 10 of them. There's a separate section with the download, and you should also have the book. That
I've
looks
got
like
the book. Okay, I just couldn't find it on the website.
It should be there. If you have trouble, just email us. Let me give you my contact info.
Okay.
Right here. It's Borino at expiredplus.com.
Okay.
If you have trouble seeing it, fire off a quick email. But
which heading is it on the website, Borino?
It should be FSBORINO. When you log in, there is a top navigation. Let me show you.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't know if there's...
It's possible you might have... we need to reset your access. I'll have somebody in the office help
Probably
you with
what it is. I should be set up for everything, but
Yeah.
I'll shoot you an email.
There's a gray bar on top, Tom, that says Home, Listing University, Expired Plus, and then FSBORINO is one of the sections.
Yeah, I don't have that tab.
Okay.
So I'll shoot you an email.
Please do, and we'll take care of it for you. All right. Yeah, go through it. Tom, the first thing I would recommend is watch the videos. Get familiar with the system. Check out the videos. Should take you probably an afternoon to go through.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do. I just don't have the access, so once I get that, I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll take care of it today. Just fire off an email. We'll set you up today. Go through the videos. The longest one is like 25, maybe 30 minutes at the most. So check them out. You have the workbook handy because it's good to write quick notes and references in the workbook. And then just set up the marketing materials. You'll be ready to go. Don't set up the whole thing, Tom. Just do the beginning first. Because as you're progressing with the leads, you can keep adding stuff to it, but you're not wasting time or opportunity now. How many FSBOs do you have in your area right now? What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ton.
Really?
That's why I got to get on it. Yep. I mean,
Get
I
on
can
them.
go look on if I look at Zillow, there's just a ton. What I was going to do this afternoon is just go to where it has open houses on Zillow for FSBOs, just go right to their open house and start meeting people.
Perfect. Bypass the whole email thing. Go there in person. Talk to them. That's brilliant. That's really, really good. All you need is 2 or 3 conversations a day. That's all it really takes. You don't need to do huge volumes. It's not necessary. Yeah?
All right, thank you.
Good deal. Hey, thanks, Tom. Keep me posted, okay?
See you in Vegas.
I'll see you in Vegas. Looking forward to it, yes. All right, friends. That was Mr. Tom, who's implementing it. Lots of FSBOs to go after. Who's next? If you have a question, call us 641-715-3605. The queue is... I'm sorry, the code is 143153, and then to raise your hand to ask a question is *6. Let me show you the number right here. give your coach Borino a call. Let's talk. Let me help you out. Let's get you up and running. Let's get you going. This should not be a hard thing to do. It's a little bit laborious at first. How long would it take to watch the videos? Probably one afternoon, if that. Put your feet up, get a cup of coffee, open a glass of wine if you want to. And one afternoon you can fly through the whole thing. It's probably 3 hours total at the most. Have the workbook ready. So that's step one. Step two, you're going to download the material, especially the first portion, customize it. That shouldn't take more than another afternoon. So now in 2 afternoons, you're ready to go after FSBOs. You understand the psychology of them. You understand the approach. You understand what to do. You understand what to say, where to take them, how to approach them, how to lock them in. Some will be ready. Don't be surprised that some of these FSBOs, if you do this right, if you have a nice, strong first impression with them, if you have a nice, pleasant conversation with them, at the end will tell you, hey, help us out. That can happen, and sometimes it will. And if it does require follow-up, that's cool. Some will convert right away, some you will follow up with. Make sense? All right, guys. Looks like we don't have many questions. That means only one of two things. Either I did a really good job putting the system together, which means you know what to do, and it's just a matter of getting it done. But if you're not getting it done, what's really holding you back? I mean, if the system is not that complicated, which I don't believe it is, if you have FSBOs in your area, which you know some of them you will convert into listings and get paid, what is really holding you back? What's the procrastination about? And don't think it's time. It's not about time. That's just a story we tell ourselves, but that's not really the issue. What is the real issue? Think about that. If you have a system, watch some videos, download some stuff, put your name on it, and go out talk to people. It's usually the fear of discomfort, right? Doing something new, fear of rejection. But then again, in this business, you got to have a little thick skin. You will not get a whole lot of rejections. Will there be some people who will turn you down? Probably. Not probably. Definitely. But that's just part of this business. So what is it really? You have an opportunity to make a lot of money. You heard Cookie, potentially seven listings or so. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of commissions that will pretty soon start rolling in. So what is the problem? And if there is one, or if you want to get to the bottom what the problem is, give me a call right now and let's talk. All right? No, looks like we don't have any questions. Let me show you the number. All right, so while we're waiting, let me just real quick give you a quick update on Vegas if you don't know what it is. I mean, you probably do know, and many of you are probably coming. But just in case you don't, we're going to spend 2 days together. And it's going to be a hands-on workshop where I'm going to walk you through 2 systems. If you have it, that's great. If you have the FSBORINO, if you have the Expired Plus, this will be a good opportunity for you to fine-tune it, to set it up, to put in pieces that are missing. And when I say a workshop, that means I will literally tell you, please don't do that, here is why. Here's a better way to do that. So the workshop is called the Lead Machine. This will be hands-on, small group where you and I will literally work on how to get FSBOs, how to get new expireds, and how to get old expireds. And that window I was talking about, January, February, there'll be plenty of both. So we will set up the system together. The room we set up is for 75 people. Most of the tickets are already gone. But the reason I keep it small so you can ask questions, we can work together on this. We can role play, we can try different things. It'll be a safe environment to put this in place so that you know when you stand in front of the real lead, that's an expensive lesson. You don't have to screw it up there. So 2 full days of working us together, building and implementing step-by-step systems. A lot of what we talk about when we talk about psychology, talk about good first impression, we talk about high status agent using the right approach will not only apply to FSBOs and expireds, it will apply to every single potential lead you're working with. But if you want to try it, see, I keep saying you got to turn off your phone, and I didn't do it. I'm just as guilty. So we're going to do actual live calls. Now we will focus on the low-hanging fruit because these really are the easiest to convert. There is no easier lead than FSBO and expired. Already identified for you, already taken a step, already motivated. And you already know how to approach them, or you will know, because on day 1, I will show you how to get their expireds, how to have no resistance conversations like a human being with a human being. So you don't come across as a needy salesperson. They don't perceive you as a threat. We're going to break down the follow-up process because that's important, especially with expireds. If they've been burned down, they need a little time. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to show you some advanced marketing tools, including how to use video and text. And we're going to practice everything in live calls. So you're going to bring some experts, especially if you struggle with this part, where you get a lot of rejection over the phone, it's not working the way you would like it to. We're going to fix that. And then same thing on day 2 with FSBOs. Where to find FSBOs, how to have no pressure dialogues. What is the difference? I keep talking about high status advisor. How do you position yourself? This has nothing to do with years in the business, your experience. This has everything to do with the perception you trigger right away with your prospects. And you will see how to set up a follow-up that's a resource where they will come to you for answers and for help. And we'll make some live contact some FSBOs. And of course, throughout 2 days, you will have access to not just me, but a bunch of people doing some really high numbers. So there'll be a lot of Q&A opportunities. Ask questions, clarify, so that you leave not just knowing what to do, but actually having the momentum already in place and moving forward. So it'll be January 21st and 22nd. We are in Vegas. We will be at the Bally's. Tickets are $297. And we have a special going on, early bird special, that's going to expire in about 2 weeks, I think. You're going to get $100 discount. Just as a thank you for being cool and being my clients, being my students. If that interests you, go to goborino.com. Let's get you up and running. We have like 20 tickets left. It's actually not 22. I think 2 or 3 sold this morning. So come on board. We'll have a good time. It's Vegas after all, right? All right. Any more questions about the FSBORINO system? Anybody else wants to talk, role play? Really? Everything is clear? You guys know what to do? If not, this is your last chance to call up the Borino headquarters.
Next questioner.
There you go. Welcome. Is this Troy?
It is Troy. How you doing, Borino?
Doing great, Troy. And you?
I'm doing well as well.
Thanks for the call.
I do have a question for you. It's not really in regards of the fruit, the things that we had talked about for sale by owners or expired plus. But it is something that I think is going to probably migrate into that. And I apologize for the dog barking in the background.
No worries.
The question is this: I had a listing appointment, and I've been working with this particular client for some time now, and still haven't hired me.
Okay.
And I think I've pushed some buttons and pushed him away.
Okay.
And I believe he's probably going to go into and try to sell it himself.
Okay.
So my question is this: how can I re-engage and get him back on, working with him instead of against him as I am right now?
Okay. When you say against him, give me a little bit specific. What do you think happened?
I think I pushed too much.
For listing with you?
Yes.
Okay. What is his?
And he's got a lot of things going on. He's going through a divorce. He just lost his job. So the motivation's there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. I think he's really concerned about the commission piece of it.
Okay. I think what the real concern is, it may be commission, and some people, money is important. They will shop around, especially the Walmart mentality people or people who are on a super tight budget. Money is important. They're willing to compromise on the quality of the service they're going to get by the agent they hire based on numbers. And there are times where there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, unless you're willing to discount your commission. That depends on your business model. That has nothing to do with what we talk about here. But I think the real issue there, Troy, is trust. What kind of level of trust does he have in you as a person? See, here's what happens when you say, I push too much. I don't believe there is such thing, but what I do believe is, from his perspective, your best interest is now more important to you than his best interest as a client. So here's what I mean by that. Suddenly getting that listing has become your priority over what is the best solution, how can I help this client at this time. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's exactly what I've even told him. That I said, look, you don't trust me. I've known this guy for a while.
Okay.
But with that, I think by the way our conversations have gone and his fear of everyone, that the trust has been pulled away.
Okay. So now the real question now is, how do I reestablish the trust with him so that we are on the same page?
That's my question right there.
Okay, fantastic.
Can I?
Oh, I think you can. I think you can. It is possible to repair the relationship even though the damage has been done. Is it 100%? Of course not. It really depends. First, let me just clarify. There are times where there's nothing you can do. When you go past the point of being labeled as a needy salesperson rather than helpful advisor, you're screwed, and it's hard to recover from that. But I don't believe you're there yet because you still have a conversation with him. If he's willing to engage in a conversation, that's the first indicator that there is a possibility. So what I would do is I would get a cup of coffee and have a chat with him as a human being rather than as an agent. Push aside now the role, you the agent, him the client. Talk to him like you would talk to a friend. And I would literally change the environment, definitely not his house, not your office. I would go to Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, sit down for 10 minutes, and have a very open, very honest conversation. Tell him this, or ask. Sooner or later, he's going to have to sell. Not selling doesn't seem like an option, am I right?
No, that's correct. That's
okay.
Not an option.
So he's going to sell. Now, the two basic choices he's going to have is either sell it on his own or sell with an agent. To him, both viable options. Now, you and I know going FSBO is a dumb idea, but at times you can't convince them otherwise. They will simply have to go through the experience to realize that it's a stupid decision. Okay? So now, when you sit down with him, have an honest conversation. Say, what is it that you really want? What is the bottom line here? What is the end goal here? Forget the fact that I'm an agent now. Let's just talk as one human being to another human being. Tell me, what are you trying to accomplish? And is there anything I can do to help? And in the past, we may have had conversation where I must have come across as a salesperson rather than somebody who's just trying to help. Believe me, if that's what happened, I apologize. That was not my intention. Yes, I'm passionate about my work, and yes, this is how I put food on the table. I don't want to hide that. But the fact is, number one priority in this relationship we have is for you to achieve your goals, but I need to get clear, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? That's one. Two, reposition yourself as not somebody who will absolutely take that listing. Because maybe you will, maybe you won't. See, if the client feels like you're a sure thing, the dynamic of your relationship changes. Suddenly, you're chasing them. You need them. The moment you switch it to a very equal relationship, look, you have the right to not hire me. That's perfectly all right. You can turn me down. Just like I have the right and the freedom to turn you down as a client. This way, there's no pressure. So let's just figure out if we like each other, if we trust each other, if we're going to work together, if I can help you achieve your goals and get paid in the process, because that's what I do for a living. Nothing wrong with that. And then have conversation where you're going to ask some questions like, well, what worries you? What concerns you the most? What would be the ideal outcome? If you could have it any way you wanted to, what would be the ideal outcome? What would you like to have happen in order for you to feel like this is going well, this is what I want? And let him tell you. And then clarify it and clarify more. Go deeper, go deeper. Because as you note already, there is a core driving emotion for him. You must know what it is. Selling the house, the divorce, and losing the job is the surface. What you want to get into is what is it really that he wants? Because that's what you're going to offer him. It's not the sale of the house. That's not the end goal. That's just the means. So spend 10, maybe 15 minutes over a cup of coffee, over a beer, whatever, in a very relaxed way, have a very honest conversation with him. That's how you reestablish, reconnect, and get the trust back on track. Because trust me, even he wants somebody he can trust. He desperately wants someone with whom he can be honest, with whom he can have an open conversation and discuss this in detail without feeling pressured and without feeling like he needs to protect himself. That's what he wants as well. He wants somebody who is competent, somebody where he feels like he's got my back. I know he does. I can trust this guy.
You know, I know he does too, and you're exactly right. And that's, kind of what my thoughts were, is to, go take him out for a cup of coffee and just sit down and talk to him, because I think that's where the disconnect was.
Sure.
From him, because I did show my passion. I said, look, this is where I think we can do it. And he wants a number that's way too high.
Yeah.
I get it, but there's just nothing out there that supports what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a little bit of what drove some of the conversations not being very positive.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
My question was him is, hey, have you made a decision yet on whether you want to hire me? And, his answer is, yeah, I want to hire you, but I just can't do it yet. I don't have enough information. And he comes up with another excuse. Well, I got to do this. well, I got to do that. And I'm like, I'm giving you all this information. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Why are you not letting me help you? I don't get it.
Well, what is it really?
And that's,
what is it really? There is one emotion that's preventing him from taking the next step, and that emotion is simply fear. There's nothing else. The lack of distrust is by fear. Your job now as a counselor, and this will be more a lesson in psychology than it is in real estate, will be to find out what it is. Yeah. Now, I'll give you one more thing to that.
Sure.
My impression is you are quite attached to helping this guy, which some amount of that passion and that desire to help is fantastic. It's essential. Too much of that is a hindrance. So what I would suggest is work with this guy, give this guy some time and your attention, but think about it this way. If you were, who is in your opinion really successful, very famous business person? Who comes to mind first?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. That would be one of my first choices. I mean, the presidential debate and all that nonsense aside, I don't care about politics. But as far as running a business,
I agree.
I have a high respect for the guy. Again, detach yourself from the political circus going on. Think about how much time would Donald Trump give this guy?
Probably one conversation.
One conversation, exactly. Now, if Donald Trump walks in and says, I'm going to list your house and get it sold, do you think this guy would sign with him?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Why do you think he will not?
I think the reason why is because I think he can do it and save the commission.
And he probably
can do it himself.
Yeah. Now, if that's his goal, there is nothing you can do or say at this point to convince him otherwise. On contrary, the more you try to convince him it's a bad idea, you're going to lose money, you're going to lose time, the more he's going to feel like you're trying to push your own agenda. So if you have this conversation with him, Troy, and he says, I'm going to do this on my own because I really think I can pull it off and save some money, your approach must be the typical FSBORINO approach. Good for you. Let me help you. If we can do this...
And that's it, but he hasn't said that. I've asked that question. I think he's afraid to tell me that's what he wants to do.
See, here's the real problem, Troy.
And,
the way
he
you're...
He wants to use me for as much as he can and figure out, you talked about on your, for your class that one of the reasons is figuring out the price. Well, he can't figure out the price.
Right.
So I've given him every comp that I could think of. I've given him advice on where I would position it. Yet he's not moving forward.
Sure.
He comes up with another excuse, and he got offended when I asked him if he's ready to make a decision.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's all the above, and I think that's the direction he wants to go, but he's just afraid to share it with me.
Right. And your job is to set up the conditions of that discussion where he can be absolutely honest with you. You want to be honest with him, and you'll say, look, I want to help you one way or another. If you sell it FSBO, I'm going to help you. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm going to get paid. Don't worry about it. But here's the real question, Troy. What will happen if the house doesn't sell in 6 months? What would be the consequence? Is he okay with losing it? Is that a possibility? Because be careful, you may not have a seller. You may have somebody who is toying with the ideas and is kind of being crushed under the circumstances, which are tough. I give you that. But he may just one day say, you know what, fuck it. I'll just walk. I don't care.
Yeah.
I lost my job. I lost my relationship, my marriage. I don't give a shit about the house anymore. And he can walk. And now watch this. Pay attention to his actions, not his words. His actions are very consistent with, I don't give a shit.
Let me interrupt real quick.
Please.
He's already said that twice.
Okay.
He's already said that twice.
Maybe you don't have a seller. He may say the right things, but he's not doing the right things. And if you have a discrepancy between the actions and the words, actions will give it away. Because as they say, it's corny saying, but it's so true. Actions speak way louder than words. And so far his actions are very consistent with, I don't want to list, I don't want to sell, I don't give a shit, I'm going to give this back to the bank. Come hell or high water, don't care, don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Now, here is how you carry the conversation. Don't be attached to whatever outcome is going to come out of that. Don't be attached to the outcome. Just find out what the truth is, because you may just say, best of luck to you, thank you, next. See, that's the problem in general. We tend to get stuck on just 1 or 2 or 3 listings, 1 or 2 or 3 clients, 1 or 2 or 3 leads. And because we devote so much time and focus and energy to those, we're going to lose a lot more. Now, there's a time where you need to zero in and give it your best, but just like the example with Donald Trump, one good conversation, you're in or you're out. And the way you can afford to do that is if you use the system in a massive scale, massive meaning more than one. You do this regularly, because if you have these conversations with 1, 2, 3 FSBOs every single day, then one guy balking at you or stalling is not a problem. You simply say, look, if I can help you, I'd love to help you. If not, next. No big deal. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So keep them in the pipeline. Don't get ever stuck on one. Besides, he can turn around and list with some discount broker for $900 tomorrow. That's possible.
Yep, sure can.
And that way, you're not left with empty-handed. You know what I mean? You have more coming. Plus, it changes your positioning as well, because if you know, well, I got 3 listing appointments lined up this week. I had 5, 6 really hot listings on the market, 3 on the contract, 2 closing this week. If the guy's a dick, or if he can't make up his mind, if it's difficult, it makes very little impact on your bottom line. It just changes how you behave, because now you're behaving from the position of authority, not neediness. Yeah?
Yep.
But that will require some
Thanks
discipline.
much.
Oh, no worries. Thanks. Good question. Let me know how it turns out. I'm curious to hear what will happen, Troy. All right, that's the Rockstar FSBO, Mr. Troy. Any more questions? Great questions so far, by the way. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I don't have like a presentation. I thought it would be a good time for us to clarify exactly these kind of things, because we get into these situations and it's good to know what to do, what to say, how to handle it. Anybody else has a question? Call your coach Borino, 641-715-3605. The conference ID is 143153 and then a pound. And to raise your hand and ask a question is *6. That was a really good point that Troy brought up, and that's the issue of trust. See, if the for sale by owner, or any lead really, whether it's an expired FSBO, Facebook lead, whatever, if they feel that your need, your desire to get the listing and get paid, hopefully, is bigger than your desire to help them, they're going to put up defenses, you're going to get all kinds of brushes, you're going to get all kinds of objections, you're going to get stalls. They will try to get rid of you. Just like you and I don't like to be sold, you don't like to be pressured and manipulated, neither do they. And I know if you have 1 listing appointment per month, that's damn hard. It's hard to do, I understand that. But that's the only way for you to make it work. Because this world is full of salespeople, and most of them are bad. Most of them are aggressive. Most of them are unpleasant to deal with. When was the last time you had a good time buying a car? Think about that. So you don't want to be labeled the same way. The way you're not going to be labeled the same way is first be clear during the communication with these people. What is that they're really trying to do?
Next questioner.
And with that, this is Borino. Who is this? Welcome.
Oh, hi, Borino. This is Ken. How you doing?
I'm sorry, who is this?
Ken, K-E-N.
Ken, how you doing, my man?
Good. I'm watching you on the screen. There's obviously a little bit of a lag. So
Yes.
It kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, no worries, Ken. How can I help you?
Well, a quick note that you might be interested. I took your advice. I got the 2015 buyers and sellers
Oh,
guide
good. Yeah.
from NAR. And the FSBO thing went down 1 point to 8%.
Oh, that is interesting. What Ken is referring to is during the videos, I refer to the Home Buyers and Sellers Guide published by NAR every year. It's a great study. They analyze thousands of transactions and they compile this interesting set of data. And one of the things they track is out of 100 homes sold, what is the percentage of for sale by owners? When they started tracking it, and that was like 2003, I believe, it was about 14%. So out of 100 homes, 14 were for sale by owners. Since that year, it's been a steady decline year after year after year. It was 9% the last one, now it's down to 8%. So that means that's really good news for you and I, because less number of homes being sold right now are for sale by owners. They just can't do it. And half of that 8% are sales where they sell it to a friend, a neighbor or a relative, somebody they know. So only 5%, one out of 20, are able to sell to general public. That's interesting information, Ken. And it just proves that in spite of all the technology, in spite of all these things that we now have available to get the properties marketed online and do the stuff that supposedly make it easier, it's actually getting harder and harder for the FSBO to sell on their own. Think about it. Only 8% of the transactions are FSBOs. That's interesting. So have you been using the system, Ken?
I haven't lately. I think in the last week or so, we've been inundated with expireds of coming on the market. With the system I use in a 25-mile radius, I think one day like 1,200 of them popped on.
Oh, wow.
So we probably have about, I think within the last good week or so, there's probably been close to 2,000. Now, obviously, I'm not interested in all those because they're in areas I don't care about.
Sure.
But it's still, and I've just sent out a mailing to a bunch of people. I got to find a way to get my package preparation down because it took me probably 5-6 hours to put together about 80 packets complete.
Why couldn't you hire somebody to do it for you for like $12 an hour?
Well, I'm going to have to look at that because they have to have access to my MLS and everything like that. And because you have to get the pictures, I have to import everything into Realty Juggler, generate the letters, and put all the pictures. It'd be nice if Realty Juggler would allow you to save pictures in there, but it just doesn't.
Yeah. Get somebody to help you with that, Ken. You should not be doing this. It's not a productive work. It's important, and it will generate listings. It just shouldn't be done by you.
Oh, I know. It's something else. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Even though I'm good with talking with people, I think I can develop a rapport. I still sometimes have this reluctance to get on the call. Sometimes I don't know why. I know why. I think I don't practice enough. And I'm looking for the parts in the video, I think, that have like the objections. I guess that would that be in the core influence?
Yes.
The objections cluster?
The basic FSBO objections are part of the FSBORINO, but if you really want to delve deep and understand the psychology and understand what triggers objections in the first place, I have a lot more space and material in the core influence. Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because here's the problem, Ken.
I'm getting a lot of.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting a lot of. We're going to list after the holidays, or we're going to list with the same agent type of thing.
We're going to list with the same agent is not the same as we're going to wait after the holidays. Sometimes they will wait after the holidays. And even with these clever lines, there is not very often where you're going to convert them or convince them otherwise. It's worth a shot to ask a few questions, but you can ask questions like, what if there was a chance you're going to put a little few extra dollars in your pocket if you put it on the market now? What do you expect to be easier or better in January? It's going to be pain in the ass as it is. People wandering through your house, you got to keep it clean regardless. So you're just going to have more competition.
Right.
So you can deploy these, but most of the time they don't work very well.
I got the ones where we're gonna list after the holidays, and we're gonna end up using the same agent, so they combine the two into one.
Sure. Now, and that again can be a real possibility if they have a good trusting relationship with the other agent. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about that. So you will not get them all, but sometimes what they mean is we're going to list with the same agent unless a better agent comes along, somebody we like and trust more. Yeah. Here is a general rule.
Go ahead.
General rule of thumb is this: until they list with that agent, treat it as if the game is on. Don't pay much attention to it. You don't argue with them. You say, oh, good, it's good to have somebody you can trust, although it wouldn't hurt to get at least second opinion, talk to some other people, so this way you have the best possible agent who will put the most money in your pocket as possible. So, you know what I mean?
I actually used that on a client, and I got a listing appointment. I did the presentation because I said, getting a second opinion is only going to give you more information and help.
Exactly. And you tell them, look, maybe nothing else will come out of it other than our first agent, the one we picked in the first place, is the right choice. But now you feel comfortable, so you win. Or maybe you say, well, this guy Borino is a better choice, or Ken. And you win. So either way, you can't lose. There is no downside to it, other than investing 15, 20, 30 minutes, which can be worth a few $1,000s to you.
Well, I did try one technique. I think I think I've gotten a chance. They still may not listen until after the first of the year, but when they say they're thinking, sometimes these people feel obligated to the other agent, even though they didn't do anything.
Yes.
I mean, get the house sold. I don't want to say they didn't do anything. But one question, I think it's something, I remember you mentioning it, is, well, what do you think the agent's going to do different this time to sell your house? Because I would think that they've done everything that they could have the first time.
Yep. That's one way to handle it. You ask them, don't you think that they would have done it to get it sold so they can get paid? There's not going to be like this new magic thing they're going to all of a sudden pull out. You know what it also often is, Ken? It's just like you said. It's not that they love the other agent, but they're uncomfortable telling the other agent they're not going to go with them. So you can help them there. Says, look, and I would do this during the listing presentation when towards the end they would say, well, we loved it, we want to go with you, we just have this other guy coming. And it's not like they really are desperate to talk to the other guy. It's just they feel uncomfortable canceling the appointment, and it's just, to some people, not a pleasant conversation. So you say, let me handle it for you. I mean, if you choose to go with me, I'll handle it with respect and dignity. I'll be very respectful to the other agent. I'll handle it for you. So you're not the bad guy. Let me take care of that. And many times we're like, oh yeah, please, shit, absolutely. So, but you won't know unless you try, unless you ask.
Right. I did try that at one listing presentation, but no, they insisted on contacting the agent, and I thought that they would. I thought maybe that was the end of it, but the next day they called me up and said, okay, come on down and let's get the paperwork done.
Awesome. And sometimes that's the best you can do. You don't want to push too far. You don't want to be too needy and too desperate and kill the chance of listing. Here's another tip I can give you, especially if they say we'll be ready after the holidays. Set up the appointment now for January or February. My accountant does it. My dentist does it. Why not? Open your calendar, says, well, things are going to be busy in January. I'm already setting up appointments. Let's meet on the 21st at 4:45 in my office. Why not? And I'll just send you a reminder.
I think that's a good idea. I remember you mentioning that before, and sometimes these things, they just, I guess maybe practice is what makes it better. They just don't all stick in your head. You just can't pull them out as quick as you
Absolutely.
should.
That's absolutely right. Ken, I don't have any special abilities. It's not like I'm such a genius in communication or marketing or selling or any of that. I'm not. It's a matter of being so well rehearsed and practiced that it's just like that logo I have, the toolbox, that based on what they say and based on the circumstances, you just pop it open and say, let me try this. Let me pull this, and you're ready. And you're right, if you just practice it a few times, it's going to get much easier. You will not only know what to say, but it'll come across very conversational, natural, organic, so they don't feel like, another salesman trying some silly script. But they feel like, another human being. We have a conversation. We can trust this guy. That's the idea. And the next thing you want to get is one of these bad boys. Let me show you. I got one right here. And you will see it in just a moment. And this is a digital recorder. Record yourself. You would be surprised that what you think you sound like is not what you sound like at all. And not just for better or for worse, but we sound different. We use different words than we think we do. Or the conversations we have are not necessarily the way we think we do. Carry them and control them. You know what I mean? Get a recorder, record the practice sessions, record the phone calls, pay attention to what you sound like. Do you sound like a confident, high-status agent who is in control? Or do you sound like a desperate, needy salesperson? And then fix it. It's a great little tool. Best $20, $30 you can spend. Buy yourself a little gift for Christmas. All right? Anything else, Senor Ken?
Next one, I bought that the first time you mentioned it. I picked one up, but you know what? I forget to pull it out and use it half the time, so it's bad on me. But
start using it.
What are you gonna? I have to
start using it. Even if you just do little role plays, just record yourself. It's a great idea to hear. Also, one more thing: don't beat yourself up just over stuff you don't do well. That's not the point. Yes, fix the stuff you don't do well in terms of communication. But also pay attention to things you already do well, because I guarantee you there are some things you already do well. Do more of that. If you smile, if you're passionate, if you listen, if you use their name, all those are good things. Incorporate more of those. Yeah?
Yep. All right. Thanks
all
for
right,
your help.
Ken, hey,
have a great Christmas.
Thank you too. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for the call. That was the Rockstar Agent Ken. Thank you so much, Mr. Ken. Your Coach Borino with you on this lovely Saturday, talking about FSBOs, talking about the FSBORINO system and helping you out. Is there anything I can help you with? Anything you can benefit? Is there anything I can share with you? Anything I can teach you? Anything I can give you? This would be the time to ask. Call me at 641-715-3605. That's our line. The conference code is 143153. Then you're going to hit pound. And to raise your hand and actually ask a question, hit *6 on your phone. And we'll chat. I'm ready to help. I'm ready to answer your questions. See, what I wanted to show you is this little window we talked about here also applies, and I'm going to switch colors on you so it makes a little more sense. But this window also applies to expireds. It applies to sellers in general. People will start coming out of the woodwork, so got to be ready for it. Remember what we talked about with Ken and everybody else? Get help. Prepare the packages for FSBOs and expireds. Be ready for it, so that when they do start hitting from about the 24th of December to the end of January, you're ready. You're emailing, you're mailing, you're talking to them, you're calling, you're visiting them, you're following up. It's a high pace action in place, because if you set this up right here, you're setting up 6 months of business, because some of these leads will be ready right away. Some you will convert quickly. Some will take a little bit of follow-up, some will take a little more follow-up. But as you're feeding this pipeline with a big chunk here, and then you constantly keep adding and adding and adding, you can have an incredible year. My goal for every single one of you, every single one of my students, my subscribers, whether you own my systems or not, doesn't matter. But for every one of you is to do at least a listing a week. I made that my goal, that in 2016, everything I will teach you, everything I will email you, everything we talk about, everything that you get from me will be aligned with that goal for you to take at least a listing a week.
Next questioner.
Okay? You can do it. Welcome to the show. Your Coach Borino with you. Who is this? Hold on. Hey, is this Nicole?
Yes, it is. Hello, Borino.
Hi, Nicole. It's lovely to have you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you having a good time? This is a good session? Learning something new?
Yes, thank you. I always watch your webinars, and
Awesome.
I've been watching for years.
Oh,
so.
thank you. Appreciate it. What's on your mind? How can I help?
Well, my question is, I know on the last call, I believe you told the gentleman you had made a mention, get the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of people, same thing. I said, we'll wait till after the first of the year. And I said, okay, well, we'll call them back. I like the suggestion of just setting up the appointment. And you said have them come to the office.
Absolutely, yes.
Generally, me and my partner usually always go to their house.
Yes.
How do you get them to come to the office? We go to their house just so we can look at it.
Sure.
Are you saying, you know what I mean? And then do you say go to the house, look at it, and then have them come to your office, or just get the paperwork signed while you're there at the house?
That is a great question. I always recommend you do your listing presentation in the office, not in their house. And I will walk you through the process. Okay? Now, let me go to the big board and show you how it works. So, step one is you confirm the appointment. Okay? So somebody says, Nicole, we're ready to sell, let's talk. So once you confirm the appointment, step two is you're going to preview the house if you haven't seen it already. So let's say it's not a FSBO, you haven't seen the property, it's not an expired. So you're going to tell them, I'm going to stop by for about 5-10 minutes. Will you give me a quick tour so I have an idea what the home looks like? This will accomplish several things. If you haven't, especially if you haven't had a chance to meet them face to face, you will interact with them. If you have seen them before, this will kind of solidify the trust, the rapport. And you spend maybe 10 minutes previewing the property. Take a few pictures, ask them some questions, confirm the appointment. Then they're going to get the pre-listing package. Okay, nothing fancy. A little bit of your resume, market snapshot, give them a little overview of what's going on in the neighborhood, maybe some marketing samples, a little sold sticker for the fun of it. They're going to get it maybe 2-3 days before the appointment. Then you're going to confirm the appointment. Looking forward to meeting you. And then you're going to meet them in your office. Always meeting in your office. Now, why is that important? First, from a practical standpoint, you don't waste so much time driving back and forth. So it saves you time. That's number one. But more importantly, you are changing the environment, the operating environment. People, to a great degree, will behave in a very predictable way based on the environment they're in. So that means if you're in church, I can pretty much predict to the great degree, at least for most people, how you're going to behave in church, as opposed to in a pub having a pint of beer. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can predict. Same with your office. When people come to an office environment, there's a certain predictability that the environment controls. It's your turf. You're now in control. Plus, this is important, there is no distraction. There's no television, no phone calls, no kids running around, no pets barking, nothing. It's you and them focus on one goal, which is to get the property sold. Okay? Next benefit, of course, is people want closure. When somebody will come to your office, just like you don't go to your accountant's office just to check what's new. If they're going to come, they want to get that done. They're serious. They want a closure. They mean business. Okay?
Yes.
Always
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Control the environment if you can. It works. It totally works. You should do all your listing presentations. There is no reason for you to go back to the house. Who goes to the house? Think about it. People who sell Bibles door to door, Amway, political solicitors. Nobody goes to the house, even if you're dying these days. Remember, I don't know, you're probably too young to remember, but when I was a kid, when I got sick, we would have a doctor who would come to our house. You know, they had the little leather bag with the phonendoscope and all that. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
They haul your ass to the hospital no matter how sick you are.
Exactly.
Nobody goes to the house anymore. Old-fashioned agents do. You're not an old-fashioned agent. You're a modern, cutting-edge, high-status rock star.
Right.
So that's a much better, much more effective way to get listings. Your turf, your area, you're in control. It happens your way. And they will appreciate it too, because suddenly it feels like business, not some old-fashioned peddler style selling. It's business. You mean business. When I need to see my attorney, I pay her $450 an hour. I still have to get my ass to her office. You know what I mean? She would never come to my house, and I pay her a lot of money.
I know.
I have to make an appointment.
Never come to mind.
Yeah. Your attorney doesn't come to your house. Nobody does. Why would you?
Right.
Yes, it's good to see the house. Absolutely. It's good to be familiar with the property. Maybe take a look at a couple of comps so you're confident about pricing. But the presentation itself should always be in the office.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. That makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Thank you.
You can totally do it. It works. And once you get the hang of it, man, it's just so much easier. You'll be like, holy shit, why was I waiting so long? This is awesome. So, you know, I would introduce my clients to the broker owner of the company. If he was there, I would my assistant would welcome them. The kids would have a little place where they can play so we're undisturbed. I would offer them some refreshments. So it was a very nice professional type of environment, which most agents still don't do to this day. Watch that 80-90% of the real estate agents still go to their house.
Right.
It's a different mindset. Plus, you ever had, Nicole, people who were attached to their house and they wanted arm and a leg for it? They were like 100,000 more than it was worth. Right? We all had crazy sellers like that. A lot of that comes from being emotionally attached. If you remove that person from that environment, a lot of that will go away. So suddenly they'll be more realistic when it comes to pricing, conditions, terms, and all that. So do it. Try it. It's super easy.
That makes sense.
Make sense?
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Always nice talking with you, Nicole. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Are you coming to
too.
Vegas?
You
Am I going to meet you in Vegas?
Of course.
Awesome. We'll have a good time. It's going to be a good workshop.
Okay.
This will probably be the only one I'm going to do in 2016 live. So if you guys want me to help you in person, come to Vegas. All right?
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, I'm in Arizona, so you're not too far, and thank you for having it on the West Coast.
Oh, no worries. Looking forward to having you there, Nicole.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nicole. Any more questions? The number is 641-715-3605. Our conference number is 143153, and then you hit pound. To raise your hand and to actually ask a question, hit *6, so it's a 3-step process to get to your Coach Borino and ask questions. Anybody else wants to know anything? Now would be a time to do it. Yes? No? I think we're good. Everybody good? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap this up then. Thank you very much for being here today. If you want to check out what's going on in Vegas, the website is goborino.com. Just hit that. There's more details about it. Sign up, register. Would love to meet you in person. Would love to shake your hand. And more importantly, would love to help you. 2016 will be a interesting year. Here's what I predict. I don't make many predictions, but this is what I predict. There'll be a small group of agents who will increase the production dramatically. If you're making $100,000, you're going to make $200,000. If you're making $200,000, you're going to go to $400,000. There'll be a small group. But there also will be a group, regardless of years in the business. You may be a new agent, you've been at it for a while, but you're not where you're going to be. Suddenly something will click. Something will shift, and it happens in two places at the same time. It happens almost simultaneously because one impacts the other. And that is something shifts in your mind when you suddenly accept the belief that you're the person who can make $250,000, who can make $300,000, who can make $400,000 or more. And it's not a process, it's simply a shift. And this happened to me in weirdest ways with my language. My native language is Czechoslovakian, Czech, Slovak. I was born in Czechoslovakia. And then one night I started dreaming in English. And that's how I became an American. The language shifted from Czech to English. There was the same shift in my perception of my business when I was homeless, and I woke up one day and said, okay, I'm a wealthy person, I just need to figure out the steps to get there. Something shifts. You will click. Will you accept the belief you can pull this off and reach the income goal that will provide the lifestyle you want? That's the first part. But the second part is the moment this clicks in your mind, and I know I'm turning this into a Tony Robbins seminar, but that really is how it works. Suddenly this window opens where the tools, information, people, resources, all the business is right there in front of you, available, that was not there before. Now let me correct that. It was there before, but the window was closed. And the reason it was closed is because in your mind, you didn't accept it as a possibility. You hoped for it, you wished for it, but there was not a core belief, which now you have. Once you have that, and once you have the window open, it's just a matter of grabbing the right tools and using them on a consistent basis that would get you to my perfect goal for all of you is do a listing a week. How would your life change? Who would you become? In terms of having the freedom, in terms of feeling successful, having the means, having the money, the resources to provide for you, your family? Think about it. Is it possible? I believe it is. That's why I'm coming to Vegas. That's why I want to do this with you. I believe you can do that. But I need your help. Your part of the deal is you need to believe as well, or at least have a feeling that that can be done. It's possible. Let me do the rest. I'm pretty good at that. I've been doing this for many years. I don't have many great skills. Definitely not being the greatest salesperson, nor do I want to become. But I do know how to help people like you. I've become good at coaching. I've become good at explaining systems, breaking them down, and helping you actually implement them. Because knowledge alone will not help you much. There's plenty of knowledge already. You can Google a lot of this stuff for free. My 10-year-old can do that. But putting the right systems in place, having the right answers, and actually using them consistently on a daily basis is really the secret. So the beliefs, the tools, the resources, people, off you go. All right, my friends. Looks like
Next questioner.
we have a question. All right. Just when I had this great wrap-up, somebody jumps in. Hey, who is this? Is this John?
Borino.
John, my man, how you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the call. Are you enjoying the session today?
Yes, fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. What's on your mind, my friend?
On your this last caller, you suggested that you should always have the clients come to the office.
Yes.
And I agree with that.
Do you do your listing appointments in the office, John?
Pardon me?
Do you do your listing presentations in the office?
Yes, I always do it in the office. Sometimes you get some resistance from the clients. They don't want to come to the office. They'd rather have you come to the house.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
Give me the actual scenario. You're talking to a seller.
Yeah, and we've already set up the appointment, and
Okay.
Suggesting that we meet in the office. Well, we'd rather have you come to the house if that's possible. So now you got to come back with a retort and explain to them why it's best that we do this in my office.
The less that's a really good point, John. I understand what you're saying. Will there be some people who will hesitant? Probably. Find out why. Find out why. And I would ask them, do agents still go to your house? Really? That's kind of old-fashioned way of doing business. I don't do business that way. So I'm looking forward to meeting in my office tomorrow. Will that be a problem?
Okay.
I make it sound like it's ridiculous. This is 2000, almost 16. We're not in 1985, where agents used to go to the homes. And I would almost laugh at that.
Okay.
And then find out. Now, a disclaimer to that, John. Is it possible that they have special circumstances? For example, I had a client who had a daughter with special needs. And it was logistically very difficult for him to come to the office. I respect that, I understand it. Of course I will make exception. I'm a human being, I'm not an idiot. I will do what it takes.
One is handicapped, I understand.
Sure, if there is a valid reason. But if it's just them being lazy or not understanding the advantage, I would quickly turn that around. And I tell you what will turn around, John, is your conviction that that's the only way it's going to happen. You don't have the time to fuck around and drive around and do, that's not how you work. You're a busy, high-status agent. And there are some agents who have one listing appointment a month. Of course, they will be desperate and they will do what it takes, including go visit the client and sit in their house for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You can't do that. You're not that average agent.
Great.
You know
I'll tell you
what
what I do also, when I do have them come to the office, and maybe other people would think this is a good idea. At the front desk, I put up a sign welcoming them on that particular day to our office. And I've had people say, boy, that makes us feel special.
Doesn't it? That is a great idea. If you have one of those boards, like I have one client, they have a nice big flat screen TV that has advertisements for their properties and welcome messages. And one of the things they post there is, we want to welcome John and Mary Smith. It makes them feel very special and very welcome. That's a great idea, John. I love that. Brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah,
All right, very good.
I wouldn't struggle with it too much. First of all, I don't think there'll be that many people having trouble with it, having problem with it. Many people meaning many sellers. And those that do, you just make it sound like, of course, that's the way we do this. Come on. This is 2016. But again, be flexible.
I understand.
Yeah?
I got it.
All right, John, you got this. You're coming to Vegas? Am I going to see you in Vegas?
I don't think so. I've got some other issues that it's going to prevent me from going out there.
Well, here's how I look at it. Can those issues be fixed by writing a check? Because then you don't have an issue, you have an expense. And then the real question is, do you make enough money so that many of your problems could go away just by writing a check? That's how I approach it. That's why I like making a lot of money. I like nice things, nice watch and a nice car and all that. But I also like that having a lot of money gives me the freedom to say, is this a real problem or is it just an expense? And if you don't have enough money to solve a lot of your problems with money, come to Vegas, spend 2 days with me. I will give you the resources, the answers, the tools, and I will get you going to a listing a week. That's my goal. Do I promise you will get there? Of course not. At the end, it's going to be up to you and everybody else. But that's my mission. Now, John, let me ask you honestly, where would your life, your business, your income be if you could do a listing a week? Would that be a dramatic change?
If I did a listing a week and sold all of those listings, it would be outstanding.
Then ask yourself this, and not just you, everybody else. What is really holding you back? It's not the $197 ticket. That's laughable. If I offer you $197 and say, I will help you build business that will get you on track to do a listing a week, but you must invest the $197. Yes, of course, plus travel and hotel. Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. So ask yourself, what is really holding me back? What is it really? And suddenly you're going to see a lot of valid reasons to be just an excuse. Now, this is not a pitch for me to get you to Vegas, obviously. I would love for you to come. But it is more my way of opening up your eyes. Remember when I said that shift needs to happen? Because I believe that deep inside, the real issue is not the money and it's not the time. That's just an excuse. It's just a reasoning. I think there's something deeper that's holding you in place. And I think what underneath it all is, without actually probing and asking, it's I may or may not be on, but in most cases, it is how you perceive yourself. Do you perceive yourself as somebody who is capable of doing a listing a week, who is worthy that kind of income, who deserves it?
Oh, yeah. I think so. With 25 years in the business, I think, I've got the expertise.
I 100% agree. And I think just by having 25 years under your belt, you would smoke most of your competition out of the water because you've been around a block. You've seen pretty much everything there is to see in this business.
Right.
And I think in your case, it's not a matter of making big changes. It's a matter of fine-tuning what you already have, where all of a sudden it will cling and you're going to take off like a rocket ship. But first, it must happen in your head because this is first and foremost a mental game. It has more to do with your self-worth and self-opinion and beliefs you carry around than anything else. Because then just the question, the only logical question would be, how do I get there? What's my next step? What's my next step? How do I get there? Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right, John. Always a pleasure talking with you. Always.
Take care and have a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you, John. Very Merry Christmas to you and your family. And thanks very much for being a client and a subscriber. Not just you, but everybody else, my friends. Always enjoy chatting with you, coaching you, helping you. If there's anything I can do for you, let me just show you real quick my email and our office phone number. This is the contact information. Shoot me an email, borino@expiredplus.com. Always ready to help. I want to make sure that 2016, that's really my mission, is an exceptionally good year for you. You're making money, you're working with good clients, driving a nice car, living in a home that you wanted, taking the vacations you wanted, pay off the debt that's been nagging you, put your kids through good college, buy a boat, fly on private jet, whatever floats your boat, wear a Rolex, whatever inspires you. Go on a nice shopping spree. Make sure the Christmas is awesome for your family. Buy your kids the latest PlayStation with all the gadgets and toys. Treat your wife or your husband. It's all out there. This is why I do what I do, is offer you this kind of lifestyle. Without any false hopes or promises. It does require work. This is not an easy business, but it's doable. It's all out there. And if you're going to do it, if you're going to work hard, might as well get paid for it. Get paid well. You deserve it. This is not a question of deserving and not deserving it. You earned it. It's out there for you. Now let's get it. All right. Hope to see you in Vegas. Hope you reach out and let me know if there's anything else I can do. It's been a good session. I enjoyed it very much. It's been a good year, and I enjoyed this year, and I thank you for being part of it. Thank you for allowing me to inspire you, to teach you, to help you, to give you the resources and the information you need to succeed. I wish you all a very nice holidays, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy yourself, spend some time with those you love, you care about, and then come back and let's rock it. Let's really knock it out of the park in 2016. Let's start strong. Let's build you the systems. Let's put you on track. Let's make it happen. I'm excited. Are you? I hope so. Thank you for being here today. This is for all of you, my clients, the FSBORINO and Expired Plus students. I appreciate all of you, every single one of you very much. From my family, my lovely wife, Roseanne, everybody here on staff at Borino Productions, from my kids and everybody else, wishing you all very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and an awesome 2016. Your Coach Borino signing off. Thanks for being here today. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.